Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto, and finally we have got the game room tour of the Retro Ghetto 2.5.
Well, you know about Retro Ghetto, collecting and playing retro. Street Fighter on the Nintendo, I'm a veteran at this, not a pro. Lock into the Retro Ghetto, come and have a look around in the ghetto. We got Sonic and Staples settle, lock into the Retro Ghetto.
Okay, so after much tinkering, messing about, spending more money than I intended, putting more time into it than I intended, the Retro Ghetto 2.5 is finally ready to show you guys. Just before we get into it, just want to make you guys aware, if you haven't been watching the channel, I'm currently building the Retro Ghetto 3.0 and I've got a mini-series documenting that. And what I'm doing is I'm extending out an existing garage and I'm really going to turn it into the dream game room. So what I'm in at the moment is what's the box room of the house, the smallest room. And this is like the makeshift game room, if you like, the interim period, the purgatory. So this is what I've dubbed the Retro Ghetto 2.5. Originally I was just going to literally stick a TV, a chair in it and a few games. Well, as you can see from what you can see behind me, it's turned into a bit more than that. I ended up putting a bit more love into it than I originally intended. So yeah, hopefully you guys will enjoy this tour. It is a very small room, so if there are any other guys and girls out there that are trying to create a games room with quite a limited space, hopefully some of the things I'll show you in this tour will give you guys some ideas. I haven't got all my collection in here. I haven't been able to get all my standees. I haven't got my kiosks in here. I haven't got all my promotional pieces. I haven't got all my action figures. I've got a life-size Link statue that's not in here. There's a lot of stuff that didn't make it simply because I didn't want the room to be overcrowded or I just couldn't fit it in at all. Once you've finished watching this video, by all means take a look at my last game room tour and then you'll be able to see a bit more of my collection. But I'm really happy with this. I've switched out all my black furniture for white. I think it's giving it a nice lighter feel and that's what I intend to do going forwards into the Retro Ghetto 3.0. Anyway, enough of me talking. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Okay guys, so we are going in and what I'll do firstly is give you a quick scan of the room. But as you can see, you walk in to Batman and the nice bit of side art from the arcade one-up Pac-Man cabinet. So the room is kind of split into two. We've got the sort of the library, if you like, of the games. And as you spin around, you have got the sort of gaming setup area over there. So yeah, we'll start from as you come in. Close the door. Scanning up, I have got my custom Retro Ghetto sign that was made by the guys over at F3 Woodcraft. I'm really happy to have this in the room and hopefully in the Retro Ghetto 3.0 I'm going to get this illuminated, get some LEDs behind it and probably utilise it on the backdrop more so on my videos. Coming across, what I did, if you've been watching the channel you've seen these on a recent pickup. I've got these roughly, I'd say about 8 foot movie standee images. I've got Bane and then I also have the Dark Knight himself there, but he ended up getting covered up by a shelf, but they pretty much took up the whole wall. And down here, keeping theme, I've got roughly I'd say about 30-inch Batman figure from the Dark Knight trilogy again. And then yeah, as I say, we've got my Pac-Man arcade one-up machine. Really happy with this. Big fan. It's one of them games I can never get tired of. Just why I decided to purchase this one. Whenever I've got spare 5-10 minutes, I just whack this on, fail to beat my high score, and generally get annoyed and turn it off. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoy doing that. A little Pac-Man pot there, and a Pac-Man lamp in the back. So then we move across to the sort of gaming library area. This is where I've put the most time and effort in this room. So starting at the top, we've got my original 1994 PlayStation Store display light. I'll probably show you guys the room in the evening lit up, so you'll see that a little bit later on. But yeah, really happy to have that, and I was able to fit that in the room. This is a bit of an odds and sods shelf. So I've got sort of Mario cereal, Super Game Boy, a few special editions, big box things like that. I mean, there's not really much to say about the way these figures are set up. I'd say probably Mario's having a better time than Donkey Kong there. And then I've got my big box Wii U games as well, just to complete that shelf. So if we stay on theme of the top shelf, Super Metroid, big box up there. There's not really anywhere else it can go, to be honest. And my small and modest Game Boy collection here, which consists of the Mario trilogy, Pokemon trilogy, and Tetris, and Big Golf. Topped off by Luigi. Making my way this way, we've got my PlayStation 1 collection. I'm not a huge PlayStation 1 collector. These are just a lot of games that I've come across during my collecting journeys and things like that I've got in bundles and just found them at charity shops and that kind of stuff. So I've got most of the things that I want for PlayStation 1. As I say, it's never been a priority in terms of my collecting. And then on the top, balanced on top of the shelves, we've got my 360 collection. And again, I'm not an avid collector of 360, but it's so cheap that sometimes these games just present themselves and I find it difficult to say no. So they're currently all there, being held together by the big box Halo Reach game, which keeps them all standing up. And above that, completely off theme, is a PlayStation Lite. You'll notice a few things like that in this room. As I say, it's not a forever room, so PlayStation Lites on top of Xbox games and things like that are a bit of a norm in here. And then as we spin around to this row, this is the Wii U section. I am going for a full Power Wii U set. I've got, I think, getting on towards 100 games now, in and around that. That's broken up in this middle section by my GameCube collection. Again, very small, very humble collection. I've got some of the ones I wanted. I've got my Paper Mario in there, and I have also got Ikaruga, which were the two that I really wanted when I sort of started collecting GameCube. And then this way is just the rest of the Wii U set, which I'm hoping to complete in the not too distant future. And that is finished off with very, very humble, shall we say, Dreamcast collection. I've recently added Gunbird 2 and Street Fighter Third Strike is probably the highlight of that collection. That was pretty much the reason I bought the system, to be honest. So yeah, if I just take a step back and scan across, so far we've sort of done the top two rows. And then we start the Super Nintendo collection, which is my favourite system. As anyone that watches the channel will know, so I'm quite a big Super Nintendo collector. I've got about 150, 160 boxed Super Nintendo games now. This middle section looks like it was built for it. This is housing my newly completed Konami Silver set. So I managed to get all 10 of those. And recently added Spurgeon, Proteus and Team NFL, which helped me to complete that subset. And the Super Nintendo games just keep going right around here. Again, random, having a PlayStation figure with the Super Nintendo stuff, but just to fill the gap. Down to yet another Super Nintendo row. And again, guys, if this was my forever room, if this was the Retro Ghetto 3.0, these would be in some sort of order, whether it be alphabetical or you know, in terms of like genres and things like that. But as it is, they've just been chucked on the shelf. Middle section, I've put probably some of my more favourite games. I think the franchises, Mario, Zeldas, Donkey Kongs. And then we'll make our way around. Yeah, more SNES games. And then below that shelf is another set of Super Nintendo games. Shout me out in the comments if there's anything here that's bringing back any memories, any hidden gems, any favourites. This middle section on this row is probably my bigger hitters, some of my more expensive games on the Super Nintendo that I own. Recently completed One Saber, Super Hagane there, which is probably my most expensive game, full stop. Turrican, Evermore, Old Man 3, Slam Masters, which I love, ActRaiser, and again Final Fight's quite an expensive game as well. Making my way across, I've got my Street Fighter Quartet there. That's Street Fighter Alpha, it doesn't say it on the box art. And this is the last few SNES games here. And that turns into my EA Sports Sega Mega Drive collection. So again, going across, there's the Super Nintendo stuff. say. So a couple more EA games. And then we've got my Mega Drive set, Thunder Force 4, one of my favourites for the Mega Drive. Love collecting from Mega Drive, something that I recently got into. Blue Box, everyone loves a Blue Spy Mega Drive game. Bigger hitters there are Wolverine, Comic Zone, Story of Thor, and then just a few random platinum PlayStation games that I had nowhere else to go. Skip across here, the rest of the Mega Drive. Hyperstone Heist, Michael Jackson, Shinobi 3, just a few highlights. Shadow Dancer, I love the full Shinobi games. Yeah, that is the Mega Drive. So, bottom shelf, we've got my PlayStation 4 stuff. Only recently started collecting PlayStation 4. I don't tend to collect current gen, just due to prices. I tend to wait for them to come down in price. So yeah, with the emergence of PlayStation 5, some of these games being quite old, I've added a few to the collection. A few of the big box things, the Horizon Collector's Edition's a nice one to have, that keeps going up in value. Days Gone, absolutely love that game. I think it's underappreciated, that one. Yeah, quite a few with the sleeves. If you guys want to pick up, you know I'm a big fan of cardboard sleeves, and collector's editions and steelbooks and things like that. So there's quite a few here on the PlayStation 4 shelf, and that's finished off with the Street Fighter 5 collector's edition. There's normally a Ryu statue in there, packed away with all the Street Fighters somewhere. Speaking of Ryu, here is my life-size bust from the Pop Culture Shock line. I would love to add more of these, but they're very expensive. I managed to get this one for a good price, so I snapped him up. So yeah, Ryu sits there. He's kind of off center because he doesn't quite fit in there as I would like him to. The T's in there, and there's another Retro Ghetto logo down here. Shout out to Gav for building that one for me. And then this bottom shelf, again, it's just a bit of a filler one. My arcade stick, and then just like random books, guides, and my hip hop vinyl collection there. Scan out to one of my favourite pieces, my original Super Nintendo Entertainment System sign. This was something I was after for a long time, an original store display piece. It just doesn't really have a very good home in here at the moment, so at the moment it's just propped down there, out of the way, keeping it safe. And Kid Robot Mega Man perched on there. So yeah, that's the bulk of library corner, if you like. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea of scale. And then I recently added what I'm calling the bastard shelf. Because I bought this one on Facebook Marketplace for about £5. The shelf in itself's a bit yellow. So it's just, I've just sort of filled it with some of the stuff that I've got less love for. So my PlayStation 3 collection, there's all my collector's editions, and again, sleeve covers. I've really got a thing for cardboard sleeve covers on games. There's another row under that. More PlayStation 3. Now's the time to buy the PlayStation 3. It's such a great system. I think the games have aged really well, still more than playable, even though they're now sort of 2 generations old. They're so cheap. They're not going to get any cheaper than they are now, so my advice is come up with anything you want. And then going down is the last few PlayStation 3. And then we've gotten to my very small, very modest Xbox One collection. I've only recently bought an Xbox One. I've just picked up a few games. I bought the Gibbs console mostly for Forza Horizon 4. And a system that I've recently given a lot of love for is Nintendo Wii. I think I made the mistake of sort of writing off the system as quite gimmicky. But there is a library of very good games in there. You just got to sort of search them out. There's lots of videos on YouTube about hidden gems and things like that. There are some really good games on the Nintendo Wii. One of which that I really did enjoy playing lately is Sin and Punishment. Success with Disguise, that's a great game. Check that out if you haven't. And then at the bottom is PlayStation 2. better systems ever made in terms of the library, in my opinion. Got some great games in here. Marvel vs. Capcom, one of my favourites. Another one that's getting quite pricey now. And then on top of that, we've got my Capcom Home Arcade, which I haven't played much, if I'm being completely honest with you. The RRP on that was very expensive for what it is. Thankfully I got mine cheap, but yeah, I wouldn't pay RRP on one of them. And then here's one of my favourite figures, my 18-inch NECA Kratos. And then the one thing I missed over on this side was this bottom shelf here. How could I forget? One of my favourite consoles of all time, my favourite modern console, the Nintendo Switch. With the games being so small, the boxes, they don't take up much room. And as a collector, I really appreciate that. So yeah, love my Switch. And then going across, we've got Rob. And my question block, which is full of chocolate. And which I'll tell the missus or little one about. Okay, so now that is definitely the library corner fully completed. So again, I'll just step back just to give you guys an idea of scale and what it is that we're looking at here. So I'm really happy with how this sort of all came together. It is a very small room, as you can see. It's what is the box room of the house. Yeah, I'm happy with how I've utilised the space. These are IKEA Billy bookcases. They cost me £35 for one. My advice would be go on Facebook Marketplace. I got these two for £15 for the pair, and this one here for a £5. So the thing is with these, you can spend £35 on them, but you only get like 2 or 3 shelves, which isn't enough if you're a video game collector. And then they charge like £8 or £10 a shelf, so it gets expensive very quickly. What you're better off doing is finding cheap ones on Marketplace, even if you just want the shelves. I've bought a couple of these and I've discarded them and just kept the shelves because it just works out cheaper. So yeah, that's my top tip if you're thinking about using IKEA's Billy bookcases. But away from the games now, got Master Chief standee in the back and the Fire Mario 20-inch. More of a Nintendo figure. So coming across here, we've got some of my favourite standees. I haven't been able to display much of my standees or store display pieces just because I don't have the room, but really had to get my Grand Theft Auto San Andreas pieces in here. Absolutely love those. And they just go across that side wall. I had a few people recently ask me about my Super Nintendo controller table. I finally put this back as a table because for quite a while I was using this either on the wall as a display piece or underneath my television, so you couldn't really see it. But yeah, I put the legs back on it, so now I can really utilise this as a table again. I absolutely love this. This was a custom made piece. Got it from somebody on eBay. I got it very cheap. I was very surprised that I won the bidding. I think I got it for about 160 quid a couple of years ago, so yeah, I was more than happy with that. Really happy to have that back up as a table. And then we go to the actual gaming area, and this is where you'll probably see more so in the room where, you know, nothing's perfect, but it is what it is. It's a temporary room. So down here we've got my smaller Bang & Olufsen. This is my MX4000, the bigger one I couldn't fit in the room. So this harnesses my retro games. So as you can see, it's a bit messy down here, but it serves purpose. If you can see, I've got my GameCube set up, my PlayStation 2, and then Dreamcast, Super Nintendo and Sega, which will do me for now. It's not all my consoles, but they're the ones that realistically I'm going to be playing in the next few months. So then moving away to my 50-inch Sony TV, where I hire some more modern stuff. I've got my Xbox One X actually. I've barely used it since I had it, for being honest. Nintendo Switch, which I put in the bedroom. Wii U, PlayStation 3, a plethora of mini consoles, which I've got relevant wires hooked up, I can just interchange those, and my PlayStation 4, the trusty PS4. And then I've got the Big Boys Toys Street Fighter figures, across there. Love these things. In case you didn't know, I'll just quickly show you what they do.
Panic boom!
So yeah, love those things. They're not displayed in the best place because they do slightly encroach on the television, but they are just temporary. And as part of the Big Boys Toys Bulkies line, I've got my Ryu there, which I absolutely love. So as we pan out, this was like my usual view. This is where I sit, so I can easily see that as the table gets interchanged. And then above here, probably my favourite piece of my whole collection, my original 1990 Nintendo sign. Part of the official Nintendo seal of quality on there. Absolutely love this thing. So happy to have it in the collection. And I just had to get it in here because it's so delicate. A piece of plastic that's been around only 3 years younger than I am. Which, trust me, it's getting on a bit. It's very delicate. It's seen a lot of sun in its time. God knows what sort of stories this thing's got. But yeah, it's all in one piece. I'm trying to keep it that way. And I think that is pretty much the room, guys. So I'll take you on one last spin. As I say, it's a very small room. Hopefully this will give some of you guys that have got smaller spaces some ideas of how to harness all your stuff in a small area without it being overly cramped. I didn't want it to be sort of too full, which is why I haven't got my action figures or more of my display pieces out. Just got what I needed and my favourite pieces that I could fit in. So what I'll probably do now is show you what it looks like in the evening, which is how I spend most of my time in here. Okay, so the lights are off. As you can see, we've got Pac-Man running. There, in all its glory, is my original PlayStation display. It's a really nice bit of light, that one. Bang & Olufsen running Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I believe. Yep. And then on here, I'm watching my good friend over at One Credit Classics, an absolute wizard. If you want to watch somebody destroy retro games and make them look easy, One Credit Classics is the way to do it. So get involved with his channel. Yeah, that's it, guys. Really appreciate you taking the time to have a look. Okay, so I hope you guys did enjoy the tour. As I say, it's a very small room. I've done the best with it that I could. The only thing that I left out was the chair that I'm sitting on now, because you guys don't need to see that, and I wanted to give you full view of everything in here. It does serve its purpose without being perfect, shall we say, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to displaying my collection. But it certainly would do me for now in this interim period. By all means, if you haven't checked out my mini-series documenting the building of the game room, please get involved. And hopefully within the next 6 months or so, touch wood. Right, hopefully that game room will then be completed and I'll be giving you a game room tour of the ultimate game room. But yeah, thanks again for watching. I've got something really interesting planned for you guys next week, which I think you'll enjoy. And I'm off work for a week and I've got a plan, which hopefully is going to come to fruition. I'm going to try and do a full week's worth of game searching. I'm going to try and hunt every single day of the week, at least 5 or 6 times. And rather than give it to you individually, I'm going to try and give you guys a full week vlog of what I'm hunting for. I'm going to go to stores, I'm going to go to charity shops, I'm going to go to car boots, specialist retro video game places, my favourite shop in the UK. So yeah, there's a big week planned ahead, and hopefully I'm going to be able to present it to you guys all in one video. So hit the subscribe button, get involved, don't miss that. As always, play your video games, keep it retro. Thanks for watching. I'll see all you good people on the next one.
Retro Ghetto.